Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge. We are here again with another day of Elestrals Reveals. We don't have any creator box stuff today, so we are just going to go straight into the main official video with, as I predicted, not lunar stuff. We have covered the star decks, we have covered the big cover card and all the lunar phases related to it. We haven't covered like a Void yet, which I'd really like to see. But we are now moving into some other elements. So we're going to find out what the other elements are getting in this set, which is pretty cool. So let's get into it. So we have a Cinder reprint. They've been doing this like every time. Every time they go, okay, here's a new Ascension for this previous Celestial. They've been reprinting it with new art, which is very, very cool. Very much appreciate that fact. But Cinder is the mill guy. When he receives a fire, you mill your opponent by 3, which can be really solid for mill decks. But its stat line is really, really bad. Its stat line is so garbage. Like, Lumaru had the right idea of being like a mill guy that just had a good stat line instead of whatever this was with Cinder. This stat line is just not it. And like, this guy really wants to like stick around. So to be able to continually re-enchant to it, so that you can continue to mill your opponent. So like that's not like an ideal place for the deck to be, not the favorite place for the deck to be. But this of course indicates that we're getting a new Ascension, so maybe that'll help mill. No, the answer is no. The answer is no. Solid Shade is not a very good card. Solid Shade is our Ascension for Cinder. It is a 3/3 Fire Lunar. It gets +1 attack for each Celestial in your opponent's underworlds. When a player casts an Elestral, an opponent must send the top 3 cards of their deck to their underworld. So I'm pretty sure, because Ascension is considered a cast, I'm pretty sure this triggers off of its own cast as well. So you're going to immediately mill your opponent for 3, and then you're going to mill your opponent for another 3 when they cast out an Elestral on their turn. But that's going to be basically the end of it, typically. Because this is a 3/3. It dies to like everything. It dies to an Eddy. It dies to Zeus Demeter stuff. It dies to being Tsunami or altered and just being run into. It dies to Spectrus. It dies to this trying to run into something of your opponents and then flipping Gorgon's Gaze in Battle Step, or them doing the same in reverse. Like, because the buff is only on attack, like it's just really bad at sticking around. And similarly to Cinder, it really wants to stick around, and its stats are just not built for that. Next up, we have Bellowbee, which is a brand new Celestial line. This is a 2/2, 1-cost fire. Fire and wind enchanted Celestrals get +1 attack. And you can target a fire or wind enchanted Celestial and give it the effect this Celestial is unaffected by counter runes until next turn. So that effect is like fairly strong, but because of the specifics of using it through Bellowbee, there are a billion opportunities to use those kind of runes before the thing actually becomes unaffected. So it's not very good because of that, and because it eats your normal cast is also not very good. Like if this had like a condition that could like special cast itself, so that you could use that effect after spending your normal cast. You could do stuff like, I'm gonna normal cast out my guy, and then they flip PTA. You special cast out Bellowbee. You target your guy with the unaffected by counter runes effect, and now in end phase they cannot use the end phase part of PTA to destroy your guy. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's how that should work. I could be wrong on that. But because it can't do anything like that, it's just like it's not gonna help you against PTA. Gorgon's Gaze can be flipped in response. Tsunami can be flipped in response. Alter can be flipped in response. It only really stops shield. Stops shield. It stops don't poke. No, it doesn't even stop don't poke. And yeah, because that isn't affecting your Celestial. So yeah, it's not good. It's just not a good card. Yeah, its stat line is garbage. So like it's not helping Fire on that end, which is really unfortunate. Fire just needs like really independently good guys, and they're just not getting that, which really sucks. And then it has an Ascension, which is of course Fire Wind. Infernax, this card's a bit better. 4/7 Fire Wind. You can expend a wind in order to return an opponent's card to their hand. This is non-targeting. Very cool. Gets past all the towers. Very cool. Awesome to see. When you cast an Celestial or Rune with at least Fire or Wind, you can give this Infernax +2 attack until the end phase. So similarly to Salad Shade, I'm pretty sure that counts itself. So it is going to be 6/7 the turn comes down, which is very good stat line. And like probably most turns, even on your opponent's turn, you should be able to make this a 6/7. Just because, okay, if the put counter rune, now I paid at least a Fire or Wind to use that, and now it is a 6/7. Very nice, very nice. The removal effect, the bounce effect is super cool. Like that effect a lot. So this card is actually like pretty solid. It has the issues of being like a normal ascension that you have to normal ascend into. And like it might not be playable just because of that fact. It might not be high impact to be enough to be worth going through those hoops. But it's pretty solid. It's like probably the most immediately playable Fire Elestral we're seeing this set. Which is a bad state of affairs to be in. But it is what it is. If this sees play, I would personally expect that this will see play in a wind core rather than a fire core. Especially because wind is what you have to expend for the bounce effect anyways. So yeah, that's Infernax. It's alright. I could see it seeing some play, but it's not like a massive game changer or anything. And then the last card we have is one we already knew. This is Torchin. I'm just going to touch on it again briefly now that we have the other Fire Elestrals. Is that Torchin is like a good card, but until we have like a fire deck, a decent like mid-range control fire deck that is able to like establish board presence and keep that board presence so that Torchin can come down and take advantage of that and heal you up. It's a good card that's just not really going to have a home. Yeah, that's how I feel about this card at the moment. It's very unfortunate. Very yeah, not ideal. Not an ideal place to be. Yeah. Like there's some clever stuff you can do with like, okay, I play down Hephaestus, I get Necklace of Harmonia, I played Torchin, put on Torchin, and now it's a 6 attack, so it can beat over stuff while also having like a ton of Fire Spirits on your board for you to be able to heal up. You don't really care about the expend from Necklace of Harmonia because you're just going to be healing up a bunch every turn. But that still dies to a lot. Like we talked about previously with Torchin, it gets stopped by like every counter rune that isn't shield specifically. At least on the turn it comes down. But like Tsunami and Altars are the ones that only stop it on the turn it comes down. But Tsunami and Altar also put it in its one defense mode where Necklace of Harmonia will not help it. So they would just be able to crash into it and it'll die, or Eddie will kill it, or Mother will kill it. Like, or Cryoblast will kill it, or Race to the Top will kill it. Like, this card just isn't very, like, independently it's not good enough. It needs a good fire mid-range deck to go into. And that just doesn't exist yet, and the other Fire Elestrals in this set aren't helping that exist. So it's really unfortunate. I don't think we're getting any more Fire Elestrals this set because Cinder is number 43, and Torchin is number 47, and these 5, like, there's no gaps between them. And 5 to 6 new Elestrals is, like, typically how many we're seeing for the old elements in these sets are establishing a new element. We might see another fire in the 2 cost for Dragalis that we talked about yesterday. But Dragalis is not a very good card, so I don't have high hopes for that either. And it's very unlikely that the 1 cost of that line is going to be a fire. In 1 cost, like, we just need good 1-drop guys. We need good 1-drop guys. We have solid enough Ascensions, but that's not where we need help. We need good 1-cost guys. And Fire just isn't getting it. Maybe the runes will be really good for Fire and that'll help solve some of their woes. But this set seems like another big dud for Fire, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Really not addressing the issues, and we just had to give Mill more support, I guess. I don't know. It's very frustrating. Like, it's very annoying that Fire is in the place it is right now. But it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe someone will figure something out. Maybe there'll be like a really good. Maybe there'll be an one-cost artifact rune that makes Hephaestus a lot better than it currently is. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Maybe Bow of Artemis will be really good for the deck. Who knows? We'll find out. We will find out. It's unfortunate. But that's going to be it for today. That is all of the new cards. Yeah, just kind of a bummer for Fire today. But hey, if we continue to do the non-lunar elements, we'll be touching on elements that don't need quite as much help as Fire does. So niche stuff is potentially more useful. So yeah, that's going to be it. This is Hunter Surge, signing off.